What if the person you can't stop thinking about, the one who lives in the corners of your soul, was never a coincidence? What if that magnetic connection isn't just chemistry or emotion, but destiny trying to get your attention? You're not imagining it. You're not making it up. You're being guided by something far deeper than thought, something that whispers in silence and echoes through your entire being. We'll dive deep into the concept that Carl Jung called the unconscious, guiding us to destiny. You'll discover why certain connections feel inexplicably powerful and how your inner knowing holds more truth than any logic ever could. This isn't just about romance or infatuation, it's about soul recognition, about awakening, about the sacred compass within you that already knows who you're meant to meet. Today, you'll begin to see love not as a coincidence, but as a call from your higher self. You'll start trusting those strange, intense feelings, not running from them. You'll learn to recognize the language of the soul, and most importantly, you'll be reminded that your deepest connections are written into your destiny for a reason. So stay until the end, because what you'll discover today might just shift the way you understand every powerful connection you've ever had. If you've ever felt like your soul already knew someone long before your mind could explain it, this video is for you. Leave a comment with the words, "I trust the whisper within," if this message resonates with you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Someone else might need this reminder today too. Number 1. The soul's recognition beyond reason. Have you ever met someone for the first time, and yet it felt as if your soul had known them forever? As if something ancient stirred awake within you, pulling you toward that person with a force that defied explanation. This sensation, so sudden, so undeniable, is not a random coincidence. It is the universe speaking in the language of energy, and your soul listening with an awareness that goes far beyond logic. This kind of profound recognition doesn't begin in the mind, it begins in the spirit. Psychologist Carl Jung, a pioneer in exploring the unseen dimensions of human experience, called this phenomenon the soul's connection to destiny. It's not about surface-level attraction or fleeting chemistry. It's about alignment, resonance, a silent echo from the deepest part of you that says, "This is significant." While your conscious mind may try to reason through it, asking questions, weighing outcomes, or doubting its intensity, your unconscious mind already knows. It recognizes truth not by sight or sound, but by energetic frequency. In these rare moments of connection, something powerful happens. Your essence meets a mirror. You see yourself not just as you are, but as you were meant to be. All the parts you've hidden, suppressed, or forgotten come alive in the presence of someone who vibrates at your frequency. Jung referred to these experiences as synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that carry spiritual significance. When you cross paths with someone who awakens your soul, it's not random. It's the universe arranging a sacred meeting point where your inner world and outer reality align in perfect harmony. Think of it like a tuning fork. When struck, it causes another object with the same frequency to vibrate. That's what this soul recognition feels like. You don't just like them, you resonate with them. It's not just emotional, it's energetic. The pull you feel is not coming from your desires or fantasies, it is emerging from a much deeper place. Your higher self, the part of you that exists beyond space and time, is guiding you towards someone who holds a key to your awakening. This recognition often comes with confusion. How can you feel so connected to someone you've just met? Why do you feel seen, understood, or even exposed in their presence? These are natural questions, but they stem from the mind's inability to explain what the soul already knows. The unconscious mind, as Jung believed, is the keeper of our symbolic truth. It does not communicate with logic, but with intuition, dreams, emotions, and sudden knowing. It is from this realm that soul recognition arises, intense, irrational, yet completely real. And this moment of soul recognition is not meant to be dismissed or feared. It is an invitation, a divine signal, a turning point where destiny knocks gently at your door and asks if you're ready to listen. When someone enters your life and your entire being responds not with noise, but with a sacred stillness, you're not going crazy. You're waking up. You're standing at the intersection between fate and free will, being given the chance to remember who you are through the presence of someone who reflects your light back to you. In truth, These encounters are not about romance alone. They are catalysts for transformation. They challenge you to grow, to break patterns, to evolve. They remind you that love is not something we find, it is something we recognize. And when we do, it changes everything. So if you've ever felt that inexplicable pull and inner knowing you couldn't explain, trust it. That is your soul remembering its path. That is destiny unfolding, not in dramatic fireworks, but in quiet alignment. The meeting may seem brief, but its impact lasts forever. Because when the soul recognizes something true, it never forgets. Before we move forward, take a moment to pause and reflect. Have you ever felt this kind of soul recognition, a moment that defied reason but stirred something undeniable within you? Maybe it was a brief encounter, or perhaps a connection that changed the course of your life. These moments are never accidental. They are sacred whispers from the universe, calling us back to ourselves. If any part of this resonated with you, I invite you to share your story in the comments, or simply type the sentence, "My soul remembers what my mind cannot explain." Your words might help someone else recognize the truth of their own experience. Let's continue this journey together. Number 2, the shadows that accompany destiny. We often fantasize about the idea of meeting someone who is destined for us, imagining it as a fairy tale moment filled with effortless joy, instant connection, and emotional bliss. But in truth, destiny is far more complex, and its arrival doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. When you meet someone who is truly meant for you, someone whose soul is intertwined with your own, the first emotion that greets you may not be love or excitement. It may be fear, confusion, even pain. And that's not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something deeply significant is unfolding. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist who explored the mysteries of the unconscious mind, once said that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our lives, and we will call it fate. In this context, the person who is meant for you becomes much more than a partner. They become a mirror. Not the kind of mirror that simply flatters or affirms your strengths, but one that dares to reflect your deepest wounds, your suppressed fears, and your most hidden emotional patterns. They hold up a spiritual lens that allows you to see not only who you are, but also everything you have been avoiding within yourself. This kind of connection triggers the awakening of your inner shadows. These are the forgotten parts of you, the insecurities you buried in childhood, the pain you tucked away to survive, the patterns you unknowingly inherited from generations before you. Meeting a destined partner is not just an emotional experience, it's a psychological confrontation with the self. You may find yourself reacting to them with irrational intensity, projecting old fears, or suddenly feeling overwhelmed by feelings you can't explain. That's not dysfunction, it's transformation in motion. What makes this connection so powerful is that it refuses to let you stay asleep. It demands that you heal. It demands that you grow, and growth is often messy. The love that comes from destiny is not a tranquil escape from reality. It's a sacred invitation to face it, to look at yourself, your past, and your emotional wounds with honesty. It requires vulnerability, accountability, and above all, courage. And yet, this is the paradox. The person who is meant for you will likely be the one who activates your deepest discomfort, not because they want to hurt you, but because their soul is coded to help you awaken. Their presence stirs the parts of you that have long been dormant. They do not just love you, they challenge you. They call out the truth in you that you've been too afraid to claim. And in doing so, they help you step into the person you were always meant to become. So if you've found yourself in a connection that feels overwhelmingly intense, one that brings both passion and pain, don't rush to escape it. Ask yourself instead, what is this experience trying to show me about myself? What wounds is it asking me to heal? Because the one who is meant for you is not just your romantic counterpart. They are your spiritual mirror, and through them, you don't just find love, you find yourself. Number 3, the process of individuation and inner growth. At the heart of Carl Jung's teachings lies a profound and liberating idea, the process of individuation. It is the sacred journey of becoming who you truly are, not by adding more to yourself, but by shedding the layers that were never really yours. In a world that constantly tells us who to be, how to behave, and what to hide in order to be accepted, The process of individuation stands as an act of inner revolution. It is the slow, powerful unfolding of the soul, where authenticity replaces performance and alignment takes the place of approval. When you meet someone who is truly aligned with your destiny, this journey begins to accelerate. This person does not try to reshape you or squeeze you into a mold of their own expectations. They do not ask you to shrink in order to keep the peace, nor do they celebrate only the most polished version of you. Instead, they create a sacred space, a safe container for you to unmask yourself. You begin to realize that this connection is not here to change you, but to reveal you. In their presence, something inside begins to stir. A deeper truth, long silenced by fear or the need to please, starts to speak again. And though this process may be uncomfortable, it is also liberating. The masks you've worn, whether to gain approval, to survive rejection, or to fit in, begin to fall away. One by one, they dissolve, not by force, but by the gentle and often challenging invitation to be real, to show up fully, to stop hiding. This is the gift of destined love. It does not demand perfection. It encourages wholeness. It is not a love that idealizes you, nor does it ask you to remain who you were when it first found you. It is a love that evolves with you, one that supports your becoming. In this space, you do not have to pretend. You do not have to earn your place. You are allowed, even invited, to grow, to question, to transform. And yet, this unfolding is not always easy. Often, the discomfort that arises in such a connection is mistaken for rejection. But in truth, it is the soul calling you to expand beyond your current identity. It is a breaking open, not a breaking apart. It is the tension between who you have been and who you are becoming. This discomfort is not something to fear, it is something to honor, because it means that your soul is waking up. Through this kind of relationship, you don't just discover another person, you rediscover yourself. You begin to see how much of your life has been lived in reaction to fear, expectation, and societal conditioning. And you slowly begin to reclaim the parts of you that had been buried. The parts that longed to breathe, to speak, to create, to love freely and truthfully. Jung believed that individuation was the most important task of the human soul to become whole, not by becoming perfect, but by integrating all parts of the self, including the shadow. And the right relationship, far from being a detour from this task, becomes the crucible in which it takes place. The right connection doesn't complete you, it reveals the wholeness that was already there, waiting to be seen. So if your love journey feels less like a dream and more like a mirror, remember this: you are not doing it wrong. You are doing the sacred work. You are being called into your fullness. You are being asked not just to love someone else, but to become someone you can love without condition. Imagine a woman named Elena, who had spent most of her life pleasing others, always the caretaker, the fixer, the one who never raised her voice even when her heart was breaking. She wore her kindness like armor, never allowing anyone to see the pain underneath. Then one day, she met someone who didn't fall for the mask but saw through it. He didn't just compliment her smile, he asked why it seemed sad. He didn't just admire her strength, he gently pointed out the walls she had built to survive. At first, Elena resisted. She pushed back. It was terrifying to be seen so clearly, but something about the connection felt too real to run from. Over time, through vulnerable conversations and moments of emotional intensity, Elena began to unravel the tight knots of her past. She started speaking her truth even when her voice shook. She allowed herself to feel anger, to set boundaries, to stop over-giving. The relationship wasn't always smooth, but it was sacred. It became a mirror that reflected not only the love she longed for, but the version of herself she had buried beneath years of performance. In that space, Elena didn't just fall in love, she rose into her wholeness. This is what it means when we say, the right connection helps you rediscover yourself. It doesn't just bring you joy, it brings you back to truth. Number 4, authentic love as a mirror and a catalyst. We often enter relationships hoping for comfort, companionship, and peace. And while love certainly contains those things, the love that is truly meant for you will rarely feel like a walk in the park. Instead, it will shake the very foundation of your identity, not to break you, but to build you into something more whole, more real. The person destined to walk beside you in this life isn't here to entertain your illusions or comfort your wounds. They are here to reflect them, challenge them, and most importantly, help you transform them. This kind of love is not about ease. It is not about simply feeling good in the moment. It's about depth. It's about being seen completely naked in your truth, your fears, your dreams, and your shadows, and still being held, not with complacency, but with sacred accountability. They will challenge your assumptions, not to provoke you, but to expand your vision of what's possible. They will uncover your insecurities, not to make you feel small, but to remind you of the inner healing you've been postponing for far too long. They will expose your emotional patterns, your fear of abandonment, your need for validation, your avoidance of intimacy, and instead of running away, they will offer a mirror so crystal clear you can no longer look away from yourself. In this reflection, your growth is inevitable. You are not the same person you were before they entered your life, and you won't be the same person once they've stirred your soul. You begin to question what you thought you needed. You begin to redefine your identity. Authentic love compels you to examine your boundaries, your wounds, your desires, and your capacity to be truly vulnerable. It does not settle for surface-level connection. It demands honesty, presence, and deep emotional courage. True love is not a fantasy. It's not the picture-perfect story fed to us by fairy tales and romantic comedies. It is raw, it is real, and at times, it is excruciating, because it asks you to strip away every false layer you've worn to survive. It asks you to confront every belief you've built around your worth, your lovability, and your past. It forces you to look at the parts of yourself you've buried, the ones you're ashamed of, the ones you pretend don't exist, and it whispers, this too is part of you, and it deserves love. Such a relationship becomes a sacred space of awakening. It's not about completing each other, it's about standing whole beside someone who sees your wholeness, even when you forget it yourself. The illusions you once clung to about what love should look like, about what you must become to be lovable, begin to dissolve, and in that crumbling of illusion, something remarkable is born: your truth. This kind of love doesn't just feel like destiny, it is destiny, but not the passive kind where you simply wait for life to unfold. This is the kind of destiny you must rise to meet. It asks you to show up, to do the inner work, to confront your fears and embrace your growth, to surrender the need to control and instead lean into trust. Trust in yourself, in your healing, and in the path that love carves before you. So know, the one meant for you will not always bring comfort, but they will bring truth, they will bring transformation, and if you let them, they will help you become the person you were always meant to be: authentic, awakened, and whole. Number 5. Letting go, letting in, and living in truth. To truly recognize the person who is meant for you, you must first come home to yourself. You must build a relationship not just with your mind, but with your soul, with the parts of you that yearn to be seen, healed, and honored. Before we can identify a deep, authentic connection with another, we must clear away the noise within. That noise often takes the form of outdated beliefs, survival patterns, and emotional attachments that no longer serve us. Many people remain entangled in relationships that have already run their course, out of fear, out of habit, or out of the illusion that comfort is the same as connection. They hold on, but there's a quiet truth that lives in all of us. The soul knows when it's time to let go, and holding on when your spirit is asking you to release only deepens the pain. When we confuse familiarity with love, or predictability with safety, we end up delaying the very growth that real love demands. Because true love, the kind that evolves you, does not arrive wrapped in convenience or conformity. It arrives with purpose. It stretches you, confronts you, and awakens parts of you that may have been dormant for years. Sometimes, it even breaks your heart open, not to destroy you, but to crack the shell that's been shielding your truth. In this sense, love is not always soft. It is not merely an emotional high. It is a force of transformation. Carl Jung, one of the greatest voices of psychological insight, reminds us that the path of transformation begins with a shedding. We must be willing to part ways with the false masks we've worn, the roles, the personas, the stories we've told ourselves in order to be accepted or survive. Only then can we hear the whispers of the unconscious. Only then can we begin to align with the deepest truths of our inner being. This kind of alignment isn't loud. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It's a quiet but powerful recalibration, a return to our core essence. And from this grounded place of truth, the right people begin to appear not because we went searching, but because we became the version of ourselves that is finally ready to receive them. Letting go is not about loss. It's about clearing space for what's real. Letting in is not about rushing into new connections, but allowing life to unfold from a place of wholeness. And living in truth, that's the invitation love offers us again and again to meet ourselves fully, so that when love does arrive, we are not only ready to recognize it, but brave enough to welcome it. If you've made it this far, it means something in these words has spoken to your soul, and that matters. This journey isn't just about understanding love on a deeper level, it's about understanding yourself. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever had to let go of something or someone not because you stopped caring, but because your spirit knew it was time? We invite you to share your story in the comments below. Your experience could be the very mirror someone else needs. Or, if you're not ready to share just yet, simply type, "I choose truth over comfort" as your affirmation. Let it be a small but powerful declaration that you are ready to align with the love that matches your soul, not your fear. Number 6. The divine timing of love. There are moments in life that don't need explanation, only recognition. When someone is truly meant for you, their arrival doesn't feel random. It feels like a thread of destiny gently weaving its way back into the fabric of your life. You might not be able to explain why, but something inside you knows. It's not a loud revelation, but a quiet remembrance, a soft echo of a truth your soul has always carried. The feeling is unmistakable, a deep inner knowing, a peaceful certainty that says, "I've met you before, in some sacred way." But here's the truth most people overlook. This kind of recognition rarely arrives without a backstory. Often, it follows a season of shedding of heartbreak, solitude, inner searching, and painful release. You may have thought love had forgotten you, that the wait was too long, that perhaps you were asking for too much. But the delay was never punishment. It was preparation. It was life clearing the path, removing the illusions, and refining your vision so you could see clearly what was always meant to find you. Divine love doesn't crash into your world with chaos. It arrives in alignment. It meets you when your soul has done the work to come home to itself. When you're no longer searching for someone to complete you, but when you finally realize you were already whole. And that's the paradox. The right person doesn't come to fix your broken pieces. They come as a reflection of your healing. They are not a missing half, but a mirror that affirms your completeness. In their presence, you feel expansion, not dependency. You don't shrink yourself to keep them. You grow, both individually and together. Love of this kind does not ask you to abandon your path, but rather encourages you to walk it more bravely. They become your companion in evolution, not your escape from imperfection. Together, you rise not into flawless versions of yourselves, but into the most honest, raw, and true expressions of who you are. And the journey doesn't end when they arrive. In many ways, it's only the beginning. Because divine love isn't a destination, it's a portal, a gateway into deeper self-awareness, deeper presence, and deeper purpose. It holds up a mirror not only to your beauty, but also to the parts of you still afraid to be seen. It's not always easy, but it is always real. And in that realness, you are transformed. So if you're still waiting, trust the timing. If love hasn't arrived, it doesn't mean it's absent. It means it's being refined, shaped by the hands of the universe to meet you exactly when you are ready to receive it. And when it does arrive, it will not be a rescue. It will be a reunion of souls, of truth, of purpose. Because the love that is meant for you doesn't come to complete you. It comes to remind you that you were never incomplete to begin with. Love, in its purest form, is not a pursuit. It is a revelation, a quiet unfolding of something that has always lived within you. Carl Jung once said that what we seek in others is often a reflection of what lies dormant in ourselves. When someone is truly meant for you, They don't arrive with fanfare or perfection. They arrive with presence. Their energy activates something sacred inside you, something ancient and instinctive, not to fill a void, but to awaken a fullness that has been waiting to rise. This kind of love doesn't scream, it whispers, it doesn't demand, it invites. It mirrors back to you your most authentic self, not just your beauty, but your wounds, your truths, and your potential. That's why it can feel overwhelming at first, because to truly love, you must first be willing to see yourself clearly. So if you've ever felt that inexplicable pull towards someone, one that defies logic and bypasses every checklist, don't dismiss it as foolishness. That's your soul recognizing its reflection. That's life offering you a chance not just at romance, but at transformation. Remember this: love is not something you find. It's something that finds you when you're ready to meet yourself. Let that be your reflection today. And now, I invite you to comment below with the phrase, "Love awakens who I truly am." Let us know if this message resonates with your own soul's journey. Share this video with someone who may need this reminder. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a whisper of wisdom that could change everything. Watch the next video below to continue uncovering the layers of love, purpose, and soul-aligned connection. The journey inward is the greatest adventure of all, and you're not walking it alone.